Um, okay, welcome. Let me put it in speaker view here. And let's see, that's not right either. How do you do that? Okay. I'm going to get this right, I promise you. The way that it records exactly as my screen is. So I want to make sure that it makes me here the main person on the screen. I don't know if yours is like that. Mine is not yet. I have somebody else on my main screen here. So let's try this. Bear with me. And I'm going to do this. Oh, goodness. Hold on, guys. Since it's recording me this way. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? Okay. There we go. Well, hi, everybody. It's 7:02 on a Thursday night. I appreciate all of you. 7:02 anyway on the West Coast. And I'm excited to have you guys hovering the right. I think I have it right, Zach. We'll see if it turns out right or not. I appreciate all of you joining me. The reason I wanted to do this is because for a couple of reasons. It is very easy to kind of get like ADD because there's so much amazing information and we have so many amazing tools, and we've done this for a long enough time that I think we've got something that's really working. And home presentations, I like to call them shake tastings, are a major component in building the business. It's a smaller event. They're less intimidating. They're very simple. And we've had tremendous success on the team with everybody doing them. And what makes the business grow even faster is when what you're doing is so simple that everybody on the team can do it and everybody's doing the same thing. So that way it doesn't matter what state you're in, what time zone you're in, it doesn't matter how new you are, everybody can do the same thing. And so that's kind of what prompted me to do this. I think what happens for us as leaders in the business, some of you, is that you feel bored with doing the same presentation over and over, so you want to change it up, or you hear something new and you want to add or take away. The thing about duplication in this profession is the more simple that something is, the easier it is to duplicate. And I'm going to go through my thought process on how we put this together, how to keep it compliant. And that's a big deal. We want to keep things compliant, how to keep it simple, and really just how to go through the slides in a very simple and fun way. We have a lot of fun when we do these presentations. We did one last night. If you were on earlier, you heard some of the topics of discussion. It sometimes goes off topic, but we like to keep it really fun. So now pre-presentation, okay? I'm going to tell you what you need to have going in. At every presentation, obviously I have applications. And one of the reasons that I still use the application, I haven't made up something of my own, is just because that's not always duplicatable. Somebody 150 levels deep maybe isn't going to have something that you made up. So this is just the regular one, okay? This is the one that the tear-off pad that we buy. So I take those with me. I bring one packet of each shake. I bring whatever bars I have on hand to cut up into samples and some chocolate. I don't go crazy. I don't go overboard. I keep everything that I take with me fits in this bag right here. I bring my iPad. I bring a mini just because it's smaller and easier for me to use. I download my presentation onto Keynote, which is an Apple presentation program. We also have this presentation available in PowerPoint, which you can have either one. And the way that I do it is I plug my presentation into the television of whoever's home I'm going to. I have not yet, only one time in the last 3 years has somebody not have a television that could be fitted with an HDMI cord, okay? So this little guy here, one end fits in. You can do it with your phone as well. You don't have to have an iPad, but this end of it fits into your Apple device, and this end of it fits into an HDMI cord. The HDMI cord goes into this side, and the other side goes into the back of the television, okay? I do not rely on other people to have the cords or any of the things that I need. I bring everything that I need. Like I said, you can use a television. This can be done on an Android. You need a different cord for an Android to adapt to an HDMI, but you get the basic idea, correct? That's what I bring, and that's what I hook in. And then on the TV itself, you just use the input button to find that HDMI port, and your presentation, your screen, your whole screen will come up. I like to use my iPhone as a remote to my iPad, because they can remotely read each other, and this is my remote control. So I don't always have to stand next to it and hold on to the iPad to change the slides. When I arrive at somebody's home, I also bring an easel with a giant pad of paper and markers. So that that would be Coco playing with things. I don't know if you heard it. I've never seen him do that before. Oh, kids and dogs, gotta love it. Okay, Bobby is here, by the way. Let's see if we can get him in. He's keeping an eye on me. This is my compliance. I have compliance in my home every day. It's right there. That's the compliance department. I don't like being compliant. I'm just kidding. I really love me. We got to be compliant. That's what
I gotta hear what she's got to say too. I want to learn.
Oh, okay. All right. So I bring my big giant, Post-it sheets. I like the Post-its because you can tear them off and stick them on the wall. Those are so fun. And I get them on an easel. When you arrive, when people are starting to arrive, I just act like they're all my best friends. I say hello. I start talking to them. Very, very friendly. I don't stand in a corner I always introduce myself, and just casual. What I have found is that the more, this is network marketing. This is a people business. We're in the relationship business. So as people are arriving, my presentation is already set up on the television. It's got the first screen up on the slide. Sometimes I'll have music playing. I always have all the snacks already pre-cut so people can start testing out the bars, the chocolate, stuff like that. Gives them something to talk about. Last night at Jenny's house, she literally had everything. She had one of everything that was a snack or a bar out on the counter. So people were like, oh, I've never tried this. It really just gets people kind of excited about some of the new products. Don't feel that you have to. If cost is an issue, bring 1 or 2 bars, 1 or 2 pieces of chocolate, and it can be very simple like that. Okay. So remember simplicity. Simplicity is the key. I will ask my hostess if she has a blender. I'll make sure she has a blender and ice. And I will ask her if she has Dixie cups. If not, I bring my own. I bring these little guys for the after part. We make the shakes afterwards, after the presentation is done. And, we just have everybody be casual, have them sit down, and then we're going to start the presentation. I will also ask the hostess, okay, if it's not at my home, I will ask the hostess to welcome everybody. They're her friends. She knows them all, and to share her testimony. Now, this can be iffy. If it's somebody brand new, then they're really scared. So I do not prep them like 3 days before and say, I want you to be ready. I tell them right then, because then they get too nervous. I've found that if I just say, hey, okay, so, Sue, would you just welcome everybody? Introduce me, just, tell them your story, why you're excited, why you're having them here. And they don't have time to be afraid. And so they welcome me, and then I'll come up and do the presentation. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a screen share. And I'm going to see if this works. I'm hoping that it worked. I think it's working. It looks like it's working. Okay, so you should be seeing on your screen the slides, and I'm going to leave them in this view so that I can refer back to them. So when I come up, I'll start and just say welcome everybody, and thank you for having me, and say thank you to the hostess or whatever. I'm keeping it very, very casual, and I'll start to tell my story. Now, before last night, what we did, it was beautiful because it was at Jenny's home. Okay. So Jenny welcomed everybody. And then before she introduced me, she had anybody in the room that had a testimony already on the product come up and stand up in front of the room and share their 30-second testimony. We use the same format that is available on isogenicsbusiness.com for the 30-second story. And she has already prepped them and talked to them. These are people that have already been in and they have results, and they come up and they share their results. That is a beautiful thing to do prior to getting started. It's very quick, and it gets people excited that are guests there. So that works really wonderful. So she had, I think, 4 different people stand up and share their testimony. And again, these are people that are already in, they've already been trained on how to do a testimony. And so then I'll come up and I will go into my story a little bit more than 30 seconds. When I start the presentation, I only tell portions of it because I will continue to tell more portions of the story as for me personally when I'm doing the presentation as I go on. So I talk about, like last night I talked about how I met Jenny and how long I've been in the profession and what brought me to the profession. So I'm going to give you an example. I'd say, thank you guys. It's my honor to be here. I'm very passionate about this. And I wanted to thank my hostess, Jenny, for having me over here tonight. And, we've been having a lot of fun in this business. It's just totally life-changing. I got involved in this profession 12 years ago. My background in the past was I was a hairdresser. I loved my job as a hairdresser. I made great money. I had great fun. But, it came at a very high price for me to be a successful hairdresser. I worked 50 to 60 hours a week, every week, and I missed so much of my children's lives. I have 3 children. My oldest daughter is going to be 25 in April. My son is 20. Actually, is she 25? She's going to be 26 in April. That's, my gosh. My son is 23 and my little one is 13. And when I started in this profession, my children were in high school, middle school, and daycare. And I just knew that if I didn't change something, they were going to grow up and move out, and we were never going to know each other. And so it was imperative to me that I made some changes. And I got involved in this profession, and I realized that I could have it all. I could have all of the things that I wanted. I could be a full-time mom. I could be a full-time wife, and I could have a very rewarding career that I worked in. I worked my career around my life instead of working my life around my career. And so I proceeded to tell them that when we got started in Isagenix, we didn't really realize that we needed to have a physical transformation. And I show this slide. So I can't hear you laughing, but I'm sure you're laughing. I tell people this story. I tell them that the photo that you see of my husband and I standing on the beach was one that was taken the summer before we got started with Isagenix in September, late in September, and this photo was taken in August. We didn't see the photo until December. It was Christmas Day of December 2012, and we were watching a slideshow of our family vacation in Hawaii, and this photo came up on the large screen. It took up the whole TV. And sometimes photos get distorted. So my husband's family's house, he said, "Mom, is this picture distorted?" And of course his brothers and sisters all start laughing, and his face got red, and he said, take it down. Well, it was a real eye-opener for Bobby and I. We really realized a couple of things. Number one, it was definitely time to get serious about these products that we had just been playing with. We would have a shake here, a bar there, but we did not get on the system. And we both also knew it was time for us to reinvent ourselves. So we did. We got serious about the products, and we took these products like it was our job to take the products. And so then I'll move to the next slide, and I show that this is our 6-month product results. That Bobby lost 28.5 pounds in a short period of time. I went from size 6 to a size 2 in a short period of time. And these photos were more than 3 years ago now. They've been taken so we've not only been able to keep our results, not only able to maintain them, but we've actually been able to better them. And I tell a little bit of our story about how we felt. I was 39 years old. I was starting to feel all these different things, and I actually went to the doctor and I said, I'm feeling, A, B, C, D. And he said, well, how old are you? And I said, I'm 39. He goes, oh, well, that's just your age. And I was just dumbfounded. I'm like, that's not an acceptable answer to me. Bobby was 45 at the time, and he was sedentary. He was depressed, and he just was totally addicted to sugar. I mean, very inactive lifestyle. And so, what these products have done for us is, now I'm 42, I'll be 43 when's my birthday? June. And I'm more active now than I ever was in my 20s. I feel amazing. And Bobby he's a madman. I can't keep up with him now. He's how old am I? 40. So he's going to be 49 this year. He cycles 100 miles a week. He's in the gym 3-4 days a week lifting weights. He looks incredible. And so the products have definitely been life-changing for us. Before I move to the next slide, which is the first video, I want to talk to you guys about this on a trainer level real quick. There are a multitude of videos, right? We have a lot of videos that we could share with people. I have chosen these two specific videos for specific reasons. They're short, okay? They're very short. This is the point of having something for your team to do over and over that is easy to duplicate is that it's very simple, and they don't have to have the perfect vernacular, the perfect words. All they have to do is be able to share their story and play some videos and be able to effectively talk about a few slides. Okay, so the first video that I show is it's the 7-minute or less than 7-minute version of Are You Toxic? I think it's called the promo length. And I will prep that by saying, there are a lot of products on the market out there. And so people are always asking me what makes Isagenix different than everything else. And my explanation is really, let's talk about cake first. Okay. Everybody knows what cake is. Everybody likes cake. You could get a little piece of cake or a little prepackaged cake at the gas station, right? You can get a little prepackaged cake at the gas station. You could buy a box and make a cake at home, packaged box of cake, or you can make an organic cake. They're all cake, but very different, right? Why are they different? The ingredients. Okay, so really ingredients are a key factor here with Isagenix, and the whole philosophy is that with Isagenix is getting toxins out of the body and then replacing that with dense nutrition, very dense nutrition. And I'll talk a little bit about toxins. I like to share that, scientists now say that the average adult American has 167 toxic chemicals in their body. And I know this is true. I've watched specials on Discovery Health. I've read things. I read articles. I read journals. I have, really made my health my business and really understanding that. And so I talk about what the toxins in our body do. That your body has natural filtration systems. It's our kidney, liver, and our skin. It can only filter out so much. And so I talked just briefly about that. Your body can only filter out so much. What happens to the rest? The rest gets absorbed by the body fat as a way to protect you from the toxin so you don't get sick. And so I say, I'm going to show you a video that really talks about toxins and, what our products do about toxins. And then I will turn on the Are You Toxic video. It's 7 minutes and I'll step aside. Just a little tip. If your device, whether it's an iPad, an iPhone, an Android, is on mute, there will be no sound in your TV. So you have to make sure that your device has the sound on. And I also will turn the screen lock off so that it never turns off. And I'll step aside and I'll play the video. I'm not going to play the video for this presentation because you've all seen it. And if you haven't seen it, you should see it. I will not ever change that video in this presentation. That's a staple for me. I feel that this is me personally and what I have found over the last 3.5 years. That is a very good and poignant way in a short period of time to give people information about what makes our products different, what makes these systems different, and how the detoxifying is such an important factor. Okay, so for those that want to change it out, I know some people on our team have changed it out and are using another video. And I just want to tell you, if it's not an Isagenix video, it is absolutely not compliant. It's just not a compliant video. So you have to use, if you want to be compliant, if you want to be easy to duplicate, you got to use things that are easily available for everybody on the team, no matter what city, state they live in, no matter how deep into your downline they go. This is the promo length of Are You Toxic? Okay. So I play that video. When that video is done, I come back and it's different every time. I will always pick out something from the video and I will talk about it. So last night I talked about how Jim Rhodes speaks about healthy cells build healthy bodies. I talk about how your cells are constantly regenerating. And if you're putting junk into your body, you are going to be creating junk cells. And so if you're putting dense nutrition into your body, you're going to be creating healthy cells. So that's what I talked about last night. But I will pinpoint something from the presentation, something from the video, and I will speak on it just briefly. Just to tie them in, to pull something from the video that I liked in. So it's not just a video and then, oh, okay, on to the next thing. Remember, the whole point of doing this is to get people excited and interested enough that they're ready to say yes that night. Okay? This is the close. And in that, I'm gonna stop for a second. In that, when people come to a presentation, it should absolutely not be their first exposure. If coming to a shake tasting is their first exposure, you have not done your job. People should have already seen websites. They should have already heard you talking about it. Maybe they've already been on one of the opportunity calls. They've seen something. By the time they come to the shake tasting, they are ready. They're tasting product and getting that last little push to get them over the fence so that night is the night that they fill out the application and they get their order placed. Okay? So your job isn't just to get them there. It's the preparation of what you're telling them and sharing with them before they get there. This will ensure that you have such a high success rate at your presentations. Okay. Once upon a time, when I started in this profession, the company I was with was a party plan. The presentations that we did, they were a minimum of 4 hours. Minimum. I mean, literally, you dreaded it because you at the time I didn't, but as it went on and on, I'm doing these presentations night after night, and they're 4 hours, not counting me getting there and prepping and everything. It was just too much. This presentation, from the time I walk into the door to the time that people are tasting shakes at the end, is 45 minutes. If what you are sharing with them is short, then the meeting after the meeting can go as long as you want because people don't feel like they're there at a meeting. They're just hanging out. Does that make sense? So make sure the information that you are giving in the presentation portion is concise. It's enough information to get them excited and then get them tasting the shakes and get the meeting after the meeting happening. That's where the magic happens. People are asking questions. They're engaged with you. And so back to the presentation. I leave it during the entire presentation. I leave it very open. If anybody has questions, please, let me know during the presentation. I allow that because I think it's very casual and it makes for a lot of fun with the presentation. If people are laughing and having fun, they are not looking at the clock. Okay, so it's very important. So the next video that I show is the Isagenix difference. This is a 7-minute video. I love this video. I think there are maybe there's another version of this one that's longer, but I use the one that's like 7 minutes. It's a little over 7 minutes. The only reason I would trade out this video is if I had a bunch of start group kids in there with me, and I would trade it out with one of the start videos. I would not trade it out with anything else. Those are the only exceptions. I use that one over and over. I like it. It's just something that resonates with me. I like it. It talks about product. It talks about the opportunity. You're talking about people giving testimonies on both the business and the product. It's got credibility. You've got a chiropractor in there. I love it. I think it's a very well-rounded video, and it's another short one. So with 2 videos, your people are learning about product. They're learning about opportunity. They're learning about cleansing. They're learning about the 5 pillars in 14 minutes of 2 videos. After I've played Are You Toxic, and I bring one special little key thing from that presentation into my talk, I prep the next video by saying, I'm going to play you one more video. And this video I love because it speaks to things other than just the cleansing aspect, other than just, our toxicity. And I play the video. I go and I step aside. And I love this video. I swear to you, I've seen it a million times. And at the end of the video, every single time when Lisa Koch says, what are my friends going to think of me? Do I have time for this? And she said, my answer was yes. I did it, and you can too. I get chills every time. Genuinely. I genuinely get excited every time. So when it's time for me to come back and stand up in front of the room, I am genuinely pumped because that touches me. I know that people are sitting there thinking that. And I'll talk about something again specific from that video. A lot of times it's her. I'll talk about her. I'll say, I don't know if you realize, but that girl that said that, the photo that was up behind her, that was her. She's lost over 100 pounds and kept it off. So I'll bring that in. I'll rein that video in, okay? And I'm going to go back to the screen share so I can, let's see, where is this? Okay. Okay, so I'll play the first video, I'll play the second video, and then after I've shared something that I like about that video, I say, okay, so now I'm going to talk to you about what it actually looks like to be on the system, because I know you're wondering, what is this? What is this? I like to tell people that this is not a diet. This is a lifestyle. And I like to point out something specific about a diet. The first three letters are the word die. And isn't that how we feel when we're on a diet? It's like we're miserable, we're starving, we're grouchy, we're counting the days until it's over, and we just hate it. It's a temporary thing to get us somewhere. And I say, this is not a diet, this is a lifestyle. And so I go into very specifically a shake day and a cleanse day. So I tell people there's really two different kinds of days. You have shake days, which on this screen, you can see that it says pre-cleanse and shake days. Those are the same thing. And you have cleanse days. So let's talk first about cleanse days, because I think people are scared of cleanse days more than anything. I was really scared. And when I heard the word cleanse, all I could think about was, okay, so I'm going to have to stay home. I'm going to have to buy like toilet paper and diaper rash cream because I'm going to be on the toilet constantly. And I just let people know that this is not a poop cleanse. And yes, I say the word poop. And you know what's really funny is, I don't know what it is about saying the word poop, but people just, they giggle and they get relaxed. And I did a presentation for our team in Arkansas, and I did my normal thing and I started talking about poop, and nobody moved. Like, everybody was so stiff. I'm like, and does nobody talk about poop in Arkansas? And you know, that kind of loosened them up. But remember, these are regular people. You're a regular person, and we're just talking about what this is really going to look like for them, and they want to know. So I explained to them, this is not a poop cleanse. Matter of fact, sometimes people don't even go, so don't worry about that. I say this is nothing like some of the other things that are out there that are talking about cleanses, because this is something that is going in, and on the cellular level, it's helping your body to eliminate some of the toxins, to release these toxins from the cells. So here's how I explain it. On a cleanse day, you're not going to be having any shakes or any knife and fork food. You are going to be drinking this amazing drink called Cleanse for Life. And it's, you're talking about an unbelievable amount of nutrients and botanicals that you are flooding your body with nutrition. You're going to drink that 4 times a day. 4 different times a day. And in between that, you're going to be drinking water, and you're going to be having isogenic snacks. Now, I use that term lightly, because when I think of snack, I think like popcorn, I think like, cashews. These are for a specific purpose on a cleanse day. Now, don't get me wrong, they taste amazing on a cleanse day, but outside of cleanse days, I may not be snacking on them. Which actually, the truth of the matter is, I love the berry. I totally snack on those outside of cleanse days. But so what this basically is on a cleanse day, you're doing an intermittent fast. You're doing an intermittent fast. And what happens on day 1 of an intermittent fast is a bunch of things. I mean, people have been cleansing and fasting intermittently like this for hundreds of years. It's so beneficial to the body. So what happens is, on day 1 of an intermittent fast, a day 1 of a cleanse day, your body is going to eat up or use up for energy all of the stored glucose. That's from the food that you've eaten. Your body uses that for energy. So if you're not putting more food in, it has to use that for energy. Once it's done with that, once it's used that all up, your body then has to use something else for energy. So what does it use? It goes after stored fat. But you know what excites me even more than the fact that stored fat is getting used up on my body? From the many things that I've read, this is very exciting. When you're doing an intermittent fast, after your body has used up all the glucose, it doesn't only use the stored fat for energy. It's now going to go after sick and unhealthy cells. It goes after sick and unhealthy cells within your body and sick and unhealthy cells in your brain. That's why this is so unbelievably anti-aging. So when you're doing a cleanse day, you're giving your body an unbelievable break. It's giving a break from digesting food. And what happens is just a ton of things. I mean, you start to feel that mental fog. It lifts. It lifts. You have unbelievable energy because your body is not working hard to digest all this food. I mean, are we just constantly eating? And the funny thing is about us, we think about the fact that, oh my gosh, I'm not going to eat for 24 hours. I mean, we literally act like that we're going to die if we don't eat for 24 hours. But I like to give people the information about the unbelievable benefits to doing a cleanse day. So there's a ton of information on podcasts and videos that you can read to really give yourself some tools, some fun things to talk about cleansing. And I'll ask, does anybody have questions about cleanse days? If it does, it spurs on something else. If not, then I move on to shake days. Okay, let's talk about shake days. On shake days, okay, you're going to get a guidebook in your system, and it's going to literally lay it out for you, like hour by hour. You don't have to worry about not knowing what to do. So the guideline in the book talks about you having replacing 2 meals a day with shakes and having 1 knife and fork meal, 400 to 600 calories. That is a baseline. Okay, for people that are active, that is a baseline. And I share what I've done because I'm active. I've done 2 shakes and 2 meals and sometimes 2 snacks every day for the entire 3.5 years that I've been here, almost 3.5 years. It is a guideline, and we use clean eating along with Isagenix. It's a beautiful partnership. So I go into talking specifically about the shake. This is not just a protein shake, okay? This is a full nutrient-dense meal. I will talk about where we get our whey, and I'll talk specifically about the whey protein. I'm not going to go into that because you guys can watch videos on the Isagenix YouTube page and educate yourself specifically about what is in this shake and what makes it amazingly different, okay? And what makes it a full meal. And so I go into that so that they understand. It's very important that they understand that they are not starving themselves. This is not a diet. They are going to be eating food, and they're going to be incorporating Isagenix into their lifestyle, and they're going to be incorporating cleanse days into their lifestyle, okay? So that's basically what I talk about on this slide. I say, now I'm going to talk to you about how you can actually get started on the product. And I always preface this section with this one statement. You do not have to get started with a package, okay? You are not required to get started with a package. But in the time that I've been here at Isagenix, when somebody does not get started with a package, they just say, oh, I'm going to try 1 bottle of cleanse and 1 canister of shakes. They do not have the same success rate. People really need the tracks to run on for 30 days to get into a new habit. It takes 30 days to develop a habit so that they can become accustomed with the lifestyle. This is a lifestyle now, okay? So I'm going to talk to you about the 3 packages that I feel are the best. And so I start with the Business Builder Pack. I do not like that name. This is not just for people that are building a business. I tell people that 87% of the people that sign up into Isagenix do so just because they love the products, okay? So this package is for a family that wants to try one of everything. It's an excellent package. And then I go into the 30-day system next. And I tell people, I'm going to talk about the 30-day system next. I'm going to talk about the President's Pack last because the President's Pack is the number 1 package I recommend. And I go specifically into the 30-day system. I explain that in the 30-day system, you're getting enough shakes to do 2 shakes a day for 30 days. Now, the vitamins are pictured here in the screen. They don't come in this package, but you can add it on. You get enough of the Cleanse for Life to do 4 separate days of cellular cleansing. I explain that they can do 1 day once a week for 4 weeks, or they can do 2 days back-to-back twice. I tell them that they get the supporting products for cleansing. They're getting a bottle of the Isagenix snacks. I talk about the Natural Accelerator. This is just a way to aid in your body's natural fat-burning ability. It's got green tea, cayenne pepper, cinnamon, apple cider vinegar. Excellent, excellent product. And then I talk a little bit about IsaFlush, what it is and what it's used for. And then, of course, you have to talk about Ionix. Ionix is probably one of my favorite products. I'll spend a little bit of time talking about what it does for the body, and how important it is, and some of the ways that it has improved my life. Okay, so that's the 30-day system. I tell them that to join Isagenix, there's a $29 membership fee, and I liken that to the same as becoming a member of Costco. You have to pay a membership fee just to walk in the door. Same thing. At Isagenix, your $29 membership fee allows you to order product, have it shipped right to your house, gives you the ability to earn referrals back from Isagenix, and it's very easy. Okay, so it's $29 the first year, and it's $19 every year after that to re-up. So now I want to talk specifically about the President's Pack, because I have found that this pack gives people the best shot at really falling in love with the Isagenix lifestyle. because they're not only getting the full 30-day system, the basic pack to really get them on the right track. They're getting additional supporting products that make this seem so simple. So I'll go into the differences. Yes, you get a box of the Isoline, the protein bars. Those can be interchanged with shakes, or use them as a snack. And then I'll talk about the chocolate. I'll spend a little time talking about the chocolate and how, remember I talked about cleanse days. You can have, the isogenic snacks. I said, but you can also have chocolate. I love to talk about the chocolate a little bit because, well, if you were at the presentation last night, you heard me specifically talk about what chemicals get released in your brain when you're eating this chocolate on an empty stomach. Let's just say they make you real happy. I won't go into anything vulgar since I'm recording. So I talk about the chocolate. I talk about the fact you can get a box of e-shots, and that everyone in my family is like, we have a support group for how addicted we are to these natural energy shots. And then I talk about the vitamins, the Ageless Essentials with Product B. You get a free blender. The membership is free. So basically, these two packages, the 30-day system and the President's Pack, boil down to $10 a day for the 30-day system, $20 a day for the President's Pack. And you guys, when you were in college, $10 a day was what you could spend on food. But you're out of college, so now you can spend $20 a day on food. Okay? And so then I go immediately into this, is I know what people are thinking. There's two questions that people always ask me about Isagenix. Number one, is it a poop cleanse? We've already covered that. And number two, how much is this going to cost me? And so when people see those prices of the packages, I already know what they're thinking. So I'm going to address it. I'm going to say, listen, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, I can't afford $600 or, $550. I can't afford, $300. But think about this, okay? When you break each of these shakes down, they are just over $3 each. So you're actually getting 2 meals a day for less than $7. I like to share a story of before Isagenix, I was really addicted to the chai latte at Starbucks. So I'd go get a small, or, in Starbucks term, tall chai latte. And of course I had to get something else. My favorite was the pumpkin bread. And that was like almost $10 just for a snack. It's not even a meal. So for less than $7 a day, you're getting 2 dense, very dense, nutritious meals. And so, when we started on Isagenix, I was appalled at the amount of money that we saved from the extra things that we were no longer buying because we were using Isagenix instead. So I like to explain to them that, listen, you're not doing what you've been doing and then adding in Isagenix. You are replacing what you were doing. So you're not doing the same things that you were doing. You are going to find that you've actually saved money on Isagenix. And so I find that this is a very important slide because I sat down with my son, who's 23, to talk about, building a business. And I was talking about, just the money that you spend on products. And he's like, how much is it? And I said, okay, let me ask you a question. You just came over here. You went out to lunch with your friend. How much did you spend? He's like, I don't know. It was like $40. I said, okay, so for both of you, you spent about $20 on a meal. He goes, yeah. $20 each. He said, yeah. I said, well, Isagenix is $3 a meal. He's like, oh, well, that seems a lot better. It is a lot better, and it's a lot better for you. So if this still does not show you the value in Isagenix, then I have something else that I want to show you. And then now I pull up this slide and I walk over to my paper, my pad of paper, and I take out the marker. Now, I really want you guys that are taking notes here to pay attention here. This is very important. I go through U+2 and them +2 the way that it is scripted out for you. There is a script, and if anybody has been to University in Action, you have the script, and you can get it on isagenixbusiness.com. I use that because it is very deliberately written out, and it's very simple. I'm surprised at how many people tell me, oh, I'm scared to do the math. You guys, you don't have to know math. You just have to memorize the numbers, okay? So I go through U+2. Now, take note of this. I will use a guest in this example. I will pick out a guest because remember, I was there in the beginning. I talked to people. I'll try to hone in on one of the guests' names. So last night it was a gentleman. I honed in on him because he was the only name I remembered. And I said, do you mind if I use you for this example? And he said, yes. So I said, we're going to use the example of you getting started with the President's Pack. And I went through it and I asked him to give me 2 names. Do you know what this is doing for your guest? It's planting a seed. You are already planting a seed for them that they now know who their first 2 people are going to be. So I go through the whole example of you plus 2, them plus 2, okay? And I always, always use the President's Pack. Because if I'm recommending that, I want them to see how they can get the money back on that as quickly as possible. This is a great place, once I've gone through that, doesn't take very long, this is a great place to say, does anybody have any questions about that? This is a beautiful place in the presentation because somebody will always have a question. So wait a minute, let me ask you a question. So what if this person does that? That will open up a whole nother discussion that will go in the business direction. Because here's what I say to people at the beginning of that. I say, listen, again, like I've already told you, 87% of the people that sign up in Isagenix do so just because they want the products. But I'm going to tell you something. When you get on these products and you start getting results, people are going to ask you. They're going to ask you about it. This is just human nature, right? When I stood in the salon, I sold, you can't believe the things that I sold that I never made a dime on. You are a walking testimony, and it doesn't necessarily have to be that you've dropped all this weight. It could be that you're happier, you have more energy. Maybe your attitude is just totally different, or people just see you walking around with a shaker cup. They're going to ask you. So when they ask you and you tell them, you have the ability to now start getting your products for free. Because I already know that this is me speaking to the guests, I already know that you're going to fall in love with the products. I already know that you're going to get great results. But you know what I'm going to tell you now? You're going to love it even more when it's free. I don't care what it is. It could be this lame eraser. If you get it for free, aren't you like fired up about it? Everybody loves free. So I explain to people how very simple it is to get your products free because somebody's going to ask you and you're going to tell them. And Isagenix is so grateful for you to send them a new customer that they're going to have you earn the benefits of that. Okay? So I make it simple. This is not about teaching people the comp plan. This is about showing them how simple it is to get the package that they're about to buy paid for. Okay? This is not about going through the whole thing. And I know a lot of people have said to me, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to do this, that presentation is just boring. I like to talk about this and I like to talk about that. Well, listen, there are meetings for that. Hotel meetings are great for that. The larger opportunity meetings are great for that. In-home presentations are meant to be simple enough that anybody can do them, whether they have been, in any state at any time. It's something quick. People can run in, see what this is, learn about it, sign up, and leave. This is something that's meant to be duplication. How excited would every one of you, there's 79 of you on this Zoom right now, if right now while you were sitting on this Zoom, that 20 of your team members were doing this in their homes right now? And what if 20 of them, each of them only got 1 President's Pack tonight? Would that impact your business? That's what this is about. This is about something simple, something fun, something easy to duplicate. I'm telling you it works. I've learned by trial and error. I did the long presentation that was great, got results. Nobody could do it but me. That's not why I do this business. I do this business to leverage myself so that I can be, hanging out with Savannah and Bobby or, skiing, and there's presentations going on because it's so simple, it's not intimidating, and people can do it. Okay? So that's a really important part. I'm going to go back to the screen share now. I'm hoping that this is turning out for you guys the way that I think it is as far as the screen share goes. Okay. So that usually, this section where we're talking about the comp plan and U+2 usually will bring up other conversations. Now, like I did last night, if I have somebody in the room who has a great business testimony, before I draw out U+2, I will have them come up and share their business testimony. Last night we had Jenny do that. Jenny has an amazing business testimony because she did not sign up to do the business. She signed up for products. She didn't even want to hear about it. And so she is such a great example of what happens when you start to get results and people ask you about it. So she shares her story. I do the whole U+2 thing. And then I move on to the final slide. I tell everybody, thank you so much. I hope you had fun. If you'd like to do this at your house so you can get your products paid for, let us know. We'll come to your home. And then I'll point to them. I'll say, look around you. What I just showed you on here, and I'll point to you plus two, them plus two. We've done that 2, 3, 4 times over just in one presentation. So you can get your products paid for very simply by having one of these at your home. And then I go and I'll talk a few minutes about IsaBody Challenge. I say, listen, before we mix up the shakes and everybody, starts having shakes, I want to talk to you about a contest that Isagenix has. It's an ongoing contest. It's called the IsaBody Challenge. I said, and it's kind of like The Biggest Loser. It's a transformation contest, lasts 16 weeks long, and I'll go in and talk about it. I'll tell them, once you're a member of Isagenix, it's free. It's free to be a part of it. All you have to do is just put your photos in and your weights and measurements once a month for 4 months. It's a 16-week transformation. At the end of the 16 weeks, whether you've lost a pound, gained a pound, tried to transform, didn't try to transform, Isagenix is going to send you a coupon for $200 of free product. Is that crazy? $200 of free product, you guys. You can continue to do that over and over. So essentially, you could do it 3 times a year and earn $600 in free product just because you're transforming. And one last thing that I like to share with people that I love about this, I tell them about all the prizes, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $25,000. The trip this year, it's to Costa Rica. I say, but another important element is, and I ask a question: how many of you are scale obsessed? It's usually every female in the room is scale obsessed. I say, when you're on this system, unlike diets, you'll lose weight, but your weight is not just fat; it's bone density and muscle mass. On Isagenix, that does not happen. So what can happen for people is the number on the scale can slow, because even though their body is transforming, their muscle is becoming more dense. And so it's slowing the number on the scale. But when you're in the IsaBody Challenge, you have to put in your numbers every month, your weight and your measurements. So where maybe your weight loss on the scale has slowed, you will be forced to look at your inches, and it keeps people very, very encouraged. And so I love it for that too. So it's just a win, win, win. And why wouldn't you want to get $200 in free products? And I say, okay, does anybody have any questions? Yes or no? And then we will, at that point, start making shakes. Now, I want to talk to you about making shakes, because I've learned this the hard way. I have a very specific order in which I mix the shakes that is pleasing to the palate. And I've done it every which way, and this is the way that I have found to be the best. I always start with vanilla. Always. And I will always mix it in a blender with ice. I do not do just a hand mix in a shaker. So I start with a vanilla shake, then I do chocolate, and I end with strawberry. I have made the mistake of starting with the vegan shake first, and nothing tastes good after that. There is a specific way that the palate responds to the shakes, and I have found that vanilla, chocolate, strawberry is the best. I won't even make the vegan unless somebody specifically is asking for that. And again, that's not one that I'll necessarily even pass out, okay? So we're just making the shakes, and now this is the meeting after the meeting. People are talking. They're asking about the packages. They're looking at the products, the display that you have. So what comes in it? What's this? Oh, wait, what's this? Okay, so this is that bar you were talking about. Oh my gosh, that's delicious. This is where all the fun happens, you guys. Now people are talking to each other. People are asking questions. They're signing up. I'll hand out applications. And I love the applications, you guys. Because on the applications now, remember I said when we were on the screen, it's basically $10 a day or $20 a day? It says that right here. It says it right here. So it's making it very simple for them. They're like, oh yeah, okay, so that was $20 a day. So this, and they'll say, would this be the one I want? I'll go, yes, that's the one you want. So it's all reinforcing. Everything that I'm doing is reinforcing the next thing. Literally, it's so simple. I mean, it's just simple and fun, and people are hopefully laughing. The energy of the people in the room will really affect the energy. I mean, it's contagious. So really try to ham it up with your, with your hostess, and, keep them engaged in the conversation. Try to keep people engaged. That's why we talk about poop and different things, because people's eyes go, oh my gosh, she's talking about poop. What? I mean, just, try to have fun with it. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Launch party kit. I love that. So that's it. Let me think. I'm trying to think of if I forget anything. That's basically how we end it. It's the meeting after the meeting. People are signing up and trying the shakes, and that's it. That literally is it. And people are so stoked that it's so quick. So what I'm going to do now is if you would like to ask me a question, then down under somewhere it says you can do a virtual hand raise your hand. So if you have questions, then I want you to do a virtual hand raise and I will find you. Okay, I see you, Tammy. Okay, Tammy, I'm going to unmute you. We'll go with you first, okay?
Okay, so if you can and finances allow, you can go ahead and sample bars and chocolates.
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly right. You'll go ahead and you'll sample bars and chocolates, and you just break them up. They don't need to have a whole taste. I mean, you can, and you only need one. Like put one piece of the milk and one piece of the light, if that is something that you can afford.
Okay.
Was that it?
Do you add anything other than water to your shakes? Like
No.
No, you just add water.
Yes.
Nice.
Now, I know that some people will, they'll add peanut butter and they'll do all these different things. I don't, and here's why. One of the things that I have found about not adding is it gives people the opportunity to say, "Ooh, I don't know. I don't really like the taste of it." Guess what my response is? You need to cleanse. You really need to cleanse. Your body is very acidic. When Bobby started on the shakes, they were not sweet enough for him. He didn't think they had any taste. Once he started getting the toxins out of his body, he thought that they tasted amazing. So it just reinforces what I'm trying to kind of share with people. So I don't add anything to the shakes. I will make them just the way that they are.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I'm going to mute you again if I can. I can't find you. Can you mute yourself?
Sure.
Okay, so I have, I think this is going to be Wendy Stabler. I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead, Wendy. Hi.
Hey, quick question. Do you go into the other products at all? Like, do you ever do the coffee? Do you ever get into the ant products, or do you gear that towards what the audience looks like?
Okay, so it's a really good question. I'm glad that you asked it. And no, not necessarily, unless somebody specifically asks. Now, you could do a presentation and somebody is actually, they'll make the coffee. And so that would be a great thing to just kind of share, yes, we have this amazing coffee, but for simplicity purposes and duplication, I don't. I will follow just the slides and then answer that on a kind of a case-by-case, person-by-person basis.
Okay. All right.
Is that
We've
it?
been complicating that because we've been adding that to it, and I think it gets a little convoluted. So.
Well, I mean, think about it. We have so many products. I mean, you could spend hours just talking about them. So we just want to give them just enough. What I have found with people in general, okay, is that if they want more, they will tell you. They will ask a question if they need more.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Yay.
Thank you, love. Okay, so I'm going to now unmute Jennifer Adams.
Hi, why I showed, I guess, the launch party kit is I had gotten it, but the CDs that are in it, is that kind of like the same thing that you were showing us on the, that you take to your parties on your iPad?
So in the DVD that's in there, you have both of these videos. They are a little bit longer versions of that. So if you didn't have this on your device, you could certainly do it. You could just talk with these, instead of having these slides. What I have found is when people have the ability to have a slide in front of them, it helps them to stay on task. Everything that is on here, other than the slide that says, but is it affordable, is something that we literally took from Isagenix. We literally took it from Isagenix. So it's all just Isagenix stuff. If this is your presentation, you can, on slide number 1 and 2, put your own personal photos there. And that's kind of what it's for. You put your pictures so people can see, your transformation. So if you don't, and this is available, it's not like this is a hidden presentation. Well, we make it available to everybody on our team page. It's under files. I'll post it again for everybody if you guys want. I'll post the Dropbox link for both the keynote and the, what's the other one? PowerPoint, so that everybody can have it. I think it just makes it simple. These videos are actually embedded in the presentation, so you don't have to worry about switching to the videos. It just goes to it automatically.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you for doing this for us. I've learned
I'm
a
glad
lot.
you're on here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's see. I know somebody else has a question somewhere. Okay, I'm going to lower your hand. Leslie,
Hey there. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfect.
Oh, super. I have two questions. One is on that next to the, I think it was the next to the last slide. There was a statement. I don't know if you didn't go over it, I phased out when you did, but I was a little, sorry.
Oh,
I'm attentive, but sometimes things provoke thoughts, There's a line in there about if they can't afford it or they think they can't, then to save the money while they're for the next 30 days. And I just wasn't really sure how you explain that, because if they're buying groceries, how do we explain to them how they also alongside of that save money for 30 days to buy the Isagenix? Does that make sense?
yeah, totally. So, that's a good question. Well, I mean, obviously, if you were eating 3 meals a day normally before Isagenix, and you are now only going to be eating 2 or 1 meal a day, you are not spending the same amount of money at the grocery store, because 2 of them are going to be Isagenix.
So you're, oh, okay.
Just not buying the same amount.
So you're saying you'll save it for the next system that you'll buy. By just using it, you'll save the money?
Well, yeah, yes, that's what I'm saying. Because
Okay.
for 30 days, if you're going to use the products for 30 days, you're not buying the same amount of groceries that you're normally buying
Right.
for 30-day period
Okay.
of time. You're not going to the same restaurants. You're not doing the same things that you would have done, because now you are having a new lifestyle.
Okay, gotcha.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I was looking at it thinking it while they were going a month on their normal groceries that they were going to save up the money, and I couldn't figure out how that worked. So
Oh.
that makes sense. And the second question, just personally, we tend to make the shakes thinner than the package directions, and I was just wondering, do you make them according to the package directions when you do it, or a lot of people on our team make them thinner?
Oh, I think everybody makes them the way that they like them, is what I think people do. I will put ice. I have a NutriBullet, so I don't know what the measurements are, but my refrigerator tells me how many ounces of water I do. When I do it, I fill my little NutriBullet cup probably about a third of the way up with ice, and then I put 7 ounces of water in it. I don't know what the package says.
It says ice and water to make 8 ounces total.
It's probably more than 8 ounces the way that I do it, because I'm putting 7 ounces of water in and there's already a bunch of ice. So I tell people just, make it so that it tastes good. I mean, if everybody's so different and you can't please everybody, and I'm not trying to. That's the thing. I make it the way that I like it because I think that's good. Somebody will say, "Oh, it's too thick." I go, "Well, you can add more water." Somebody say, "Oh, it's too watery." Well, you can add more ice. I mean,
Okay, that's super. That's what I choose to do too. I just wondered what you did. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. I see no more hands raised. Is that true? Leslie, if you don't mind muting yourself, because I don't see you on here anymore.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions regarding the presentation, the videos, doing U +2, them +2, or, if you just want to know where Bobby is, how he's doing, if you want to know what we did today? I'm just kidding. Really, if there's no questions, either I did an awesome job or you guys are totally out. Really? There's really no questions? That's amazing. You guys are amazing. Was this helpful for you guys? Those of you that are in other states and you hear us always talking about doing shake tastings, has this been helpful for you? Does this make it seem simple for you to go ahead and do these presentations? Because my goal in doing this is that now you feel empowered that you can go do this. You can go do this presentation. You can go do it tomorrow. I want all of you to be doing it, really, and just have fun with it. I mean, really, you just need to have a lot of fun. So if there's no questions, no? Last chance, raise your virtual hand. I guess not. All right. Well, that's it, you guys. We got done in exactly an hour, so that's amazing. And I appreciate you all. I hope this was helpful. I may go back and look at the recording to see if I think it's worthy of sharing. I don't know if it's worthy of sharing or not. But those of you that were here, hopefully you took notes, and I will make sure that the presentation is posted. I think we have a couple people from another team on here. If you need the presentation, just email me on Facebook. I'll send it to you. And you can put your own pictures in there, and you can just, you can take our little team logo out and make it so that it's just for you. So thank you guys so very much. I'm going to stop the recording.